Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Wen's World where variety reigns. And so I ask, how often do you get to kick it with a comedian, mathematician, business manager, two-time Emmy Award winner, and a laundry list of accomplishments and accolades? But perhaps most impactful is his role as mentor to all who have ears to hear, the man who keeps winning, Mr. Rushion McDonald. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. Thank you, Joey. I'm happy to be on your show in Atlanta. Family down in Houston dealing with the winter storm down there. So my time is and mentality is in two places, but I'm happy to be on the call to discuss Winter World.
Well, I appreciate it, man. Speaking of Houston, you got something big coming up here. We're going to post the link to the in the description here, but tell us more about this Powerful Voices webinar series at the University of Houston on the 23rd of February.
Well, the thing about it is that I've been fortunate. Our relationship goes back to when I was doing radio in Salem, and I met you as a producer over there, and then we did some business together with the Air National Guard, and in fact won awards together with the Air National Guard. So now that I bought a building in Atlanta, particularly Peachtree Corners, which allows me to really establish my brand and my production company, and so now people want me to speak, and the Power series is one of those dominant opportunities that I'll be able to tell people my story, but more so let them know that my story can be their story. There are principles to success for everybody. It's you applying those to your particular needs and not trying to do what I did or not trying to do what I became, but realizing that there are steps. If you follow these steps and willing to apply to your dream with proper planning and consistent effort, then you can win.
Man, I think you answered half my questions with that one thing right there, man.
We'll get in more detail. That was a blank slate response because of the fact that, when we talk about success, you know what I'm saying, Joey, is that a lot of people really miss the boat because of the fact that they don't define it to themselves. I read enough, I interview people who are motivational people, who are successful entrepreneurs, and different books. And they all have the same value, that is consistency and committed effort. If you sit down with a Warren Buffett, Bill Gates, it's going to be consistency and committed effort right in their voice. That's going to lead their conversation. And then the second thing that's going to lead their conversation are the people that they hire around them to maintain that consistency, and where the leadership role you play in it being applied on a daily basis so you can be successful. You cannot be successful by yourself.
It takes a community. It takes everybody around us building each other up. I've heard you say lead with your gifts, and it sounds simple and it's a really positive statement, but it takes a significant level of self-awareness, Rushion. Now, in your opinion, what gifts were you given that you feel that you lead with on a daily basis?
Let's put it this way. When I went to college, like anybody, I always tell people when you're in your 40s and 50s, we build resumes, we build job bios and things like that. And so oftentimes we think that's our skill set. We think that's our passion, that's our gifts. Because you use those terms, you hear them a lot nowadays. And so, but it may not be the case. It wasn't until my 40s that I was ready to sit down and go, my abilities to be able to produce, my abilities to be able to lead people, my creative side was my strength. And it was even when I first got an opportunity to write on Steve Harvey's first ABC sitcom. He asked me even though I was a very successful stand-up comedy, he asked me what I wanted to do. And I did tell him I wanted to write and produce. So I knew I wanted to do that versus doing stand-up and being in front of a camera. Now in college, that's all I did. I produced shows, I events that attracted people. And so my gifts have always been the ability to do events, to be able to promote things, to creatively come up with original ideas. That's my gift. My gift to be, which now you use the terms branding a lot now, because that's all I was doing when I was 18 years old. I would take an idea, I would brand it, promote it, and then people would pay money to come to my events. But at the time, I didn't know. I was just doing it, having fun. But in the end, I was just really at the very early stages of understanding that this is something that I could do that was very unique that everybody couldn't do, but I didn't understand it. And so I was not leading with my gifts. I went out to stand up. That was not my primary gift. That was just one of the talents that I had. Notice I say talents. And so as I moved forward in life, started managing Steve Harvey, all those talents came into play. And he became a benefactor of those talents because of the fact that hard work, consistency, follow up, all those things. But my gift in the end, my gifts, because I don't think anybody has one gift. I think you have several opportunities to grow your values. And so to be able to, I'm a natural leader, but I also have the ability to conceptualize original ideas and promote them. And that's pretty much how I get it done.
No, you do get it done. You get it done every day. A lot of people, though, they feel like they haven't quite defined their giftings quite yet. What would you say to somebody who's on that journey of discovery as they try to find those things?
Well, first of all, you have to look at what do you do the most comfortable at? Because I always go to athletics, because you hear some things about certain people say he could play baseball, football, basketball, but he chose football. He chose what he was most comfortable at, okay? What he felt the most upside for his talent. Life is like that too, If you're a good singer, but you're a better writer, you might be a better songwriter than a performer. And don't let people guide you. In order to find your gifts, especially your gifts, don't let people pigeonhole you and tell you this is what you're supposed to do, or this is all you're capable of doing. That's where a lot of people get misguided on their gifts. Because people will tell you whether you're a female or a male, or you're short, or you're tall, or you're black, or you're white. They will pigeonhole you and tell you based on their perceptions of you, this is all you can do. Now, if you surround yourself and allow these people to dominate your lifestyle, then guess what? You will only rise to the level of their expectation, but you'll never achieve your expectations.
Man, that's amazing. You talked about, weighing the advice, discerning it properly, but you also talk heavily about dismissing fear, saying no to fear.
Yeah.
We're all on that journey of our own. How do you coach people to take on that fear head on, the fear that binds us?
I always say this to people all the time. I say, lead with your gifts. Don't let your age, friends, family, co-workers stop you from living or planning your dreams. That's the number one fear right there, because we have a general tendency to say we need somebody to help us out. We need somebody to guide us. But really, it's on you. It really is on you, Joey. It's on you. So the number one fear that you have is the unknown. Because if you're not dependent on your friends, your family, or your co-workers, or somebody that you feel has value in your life, it's on you now. So the average person doesn't want it to be on them. They want to be able to turn to somebody. What do you think? You think that's a good move? Guess what? If you want to be a doctor, you don't go to a mechanic. If you go to a mechanic, you don't go to a singer, okay? You go to the people who can give you the advice in that field. That's why mentors are so important nowadays, and that's why it's such a value term. You should talk to people who have a sense of a clear understanding of what you're talking about. Then they can guide you. Your parents can't always guide you, especially today. They might feel you're moving too fast, but technology forces you to move fast. It forces you to make decisions that are good for your brand or good for your career. So you have to be able to walk the walk in a lane that better serves your gifts.
Now, we talked about the differences between gifts and habits, and habits are the things that we apply, but you also touched on the principles of success. And I know that you want to save a majority of these for the Q&A that we're all going to attend, but can you give us just a few as a sneak peek?
The principles of success is this: consistency. Pick a time you're going to get up and make that your time. If you getting up at 4 o'clock on Tuesday, 6 o'clock on Wednesday, and 7 o'clock on Thursday, and 4 o'clock on Friday, you're not going to be successful. I don't care who you are, because you are not defined a time when you can start planning your dreams or setting your goals. Because another principle is, before you go to sleep, make a plan of why you have to get up. That's why a lot of people don't get up. because they just go to sleep. So when that alarm clock hits, oh man. Oh, guess what? When I wake up, I know exactly what I have to do because I told myself, or I wrote a note, wake up, oh, I got to do this. People should do that and they'd be a lot more efficient and they'd get out of bed a lot faster. So pick a time, set your goal before you go to sleep so you can work up to activate that goal. And the third would be seeing it through. Seeing it through. In other words, you set your time, you got up. You told myself, when I get up, I'm gonna make sure I call Bill. When we get up, make sure you call Bill. That's seeing it through the process. And then after that, move the goalposts. When you complete a task, there's no time to celebrate. Move that goalpost so you can further your dreams and further your opportunities. If that goalpost stays where it's at, people will pass you up.
Would you say that complacency and comfort's probably the biggest obstacle we put in our own way?
Stationary goalposts will do it for you. All I try to do, Joe, is let people see things and not use fancy words. Move that goalpost. Now, if you're telling me, okay, so you're telling me that I have to reset my goals? Yes, yes, yes. When you move that goalpost, it's not operating on the goal that you just completed. And I'm not talking about a goalpost in a football game. I'm asking you to post a goal down the line every time you hit it. That goal is your dream. That goal is what you've been planning to achieve in your life. So move that goal post to another position. And every time you achieve that moment of success or clear that level of planning, then you can celebrate the fact that you are being able to move it.
One of the things that I loved about filling in as your producer back on Money Making Conversations was this idea that you instantly defeated every time it was brought up, the idea of an overnight success, but nobody sees the time that people put in behind closed doors, burning the midnight oil, doing all the things that it takes to achieve that level of success. Can you talk to the dreamers out there, the people that see people on Instagram succeeding, making a lot of money, living the life they think they want to live? What would be some, I don't know, last second takeaways that they can embrace right here and now?
It's great you asked me this question. On HBO right now, it's called Fake Famous. It's running right now. It's a documentary series about, they took 3 people and they built them out their social media and they showed their brain. And they showed you how you can buy followers and how you can do photo shoots and you can sit in like you're in private jets and all this stuff and create an image that you got it going on. And people will gravitate to that. I recommend people to look at it because even when you're building this brand that's not real, it still takes hard work. So I walked away with that and went, we're not doing enough to build my brand. We're not doing enough to tell my story. And so with that being said, that means that whether it's fake or real, there's work involved. And so that being said, if you don't understand that, get out of the game. There's no overnight success tied to longevity. It's like sometimes a player become rookie of the year in sport, and then they don't have the career because they didn't understand that the next year was going to be harder than the rookie year. When you look at a player like LeBron James, 36 years old, playing like a 24-year-old basketball player, you know why? Because he pays a guy $1 million a year to follow him around, make his food, and train him. $1 million a year. So he told himself, I'm going to invest in myself. Some people are like, man, I'm not going to spend that much on a trainer. Well, guess what? He spends that much on a trainer, and guess what? He's getting the return on his investment.
That's big. That's big.
Yes, I always tell everybody that, when you look at things that you spend, you have to place the value of what it's going to bring to the table. And I say this, during the pandemic, I was at Spaces and good work environment, classic, right across from Truist Park where the Atlanta Braves played. Everything was great. But I knew that was not where I wanted to build my brand. My gut feeling was that this is nice. I have access to conference rooms. Anybody who come to my office, I feel like I'm selling a very high profile brand, but it didn't feel right. And so I had to invest in other ways. So I gave my 90-day notice. And then of course, COVID hit. And then I reduced my office space from 3 to 1, using that one just to keep storage, move all my equipment to one, my office desk space. And then I said, I'm gonna start looking for my own building. And so in July, I started looking for my own building based on the fact that I wanted to sell a certain look for my brand, Joey. And so it's really important that people understand that whether you suit your brand, your attitude is your brand, or you want people to come to you and have meetings and facilities that they feel safe, that became important to me. And that's why I invested in this building. It was my investment the way like LeBron James invested in that trainer. You have to make a commitment. You cannot be afraid of saying that, is this the right move? I can't answer that for you.
Right.
I can only answer it for me.
That's big. But you also do some consultant work on the side. So if people are looking for the guidance, personalized guidance based on their own story, RushionMcDonald.com, 3815media.com, you're doing big things on that side. But you also have a lighter side. We got pretty heavy in this conversation and it hits deep. It cuts because there's a lot of truth to that double-edged sword.
Right.
But when you're talking about sharp things, it could also be a kitchen knife and your baker spotlight is blowing up. Tell us more about what you got going on there.
I'm glad you brought it up. I'm getting into a deal with AIB TV in the Atlanta market. And in fact, I'll be launching Money Making Conversations on AIB. It'll be a half-hour TV show. It'll be 2 guests per episode. And then I'll be launching Rushion's Kitchen, where I'll be hosting a half-hour lifestyle kitchen segment. My baker will be based in New York City, and then my cooker, he's from Alabama. And so I'll be zooming into their kitchen in New York and their kitchen in Alabama. And I'll be anything from great sweet potato pies and fried chicken and cornbread. But each one of us will make a dish. And so I'm just tapping into my skill set and having fun now. And so, but that launches April 8th on AIB TV. The goal is to launch the show locally and then syndicate them nationally.
There's never a day that goes by that Rushion McDonald is not making a move. Moneymakingconversations.com. We'll post all the details to his upcoming Q&A on the 23rd of February. You don't want to miss it. It's a free event. You will profit tremendously. Rushion, always a pleasure, good sir. Thanks so much for taking the time with us here in Wens World.
Invite me back. I love to come back in the summer after the shows have been launched and give you an update to your team and things like that. But I'm very happy and very proud to be on this show, and you're a fantastic individual. Thank you, Joey.